In a Brooklyn strip club, a Ukrainian dancer meets a Russian billionaire's son. 76 hours later, their impulsive marriage becomes the scandal that inspired this year's most talked about film. This is the story of ANORA. Welcome to Movie Tales, where we bring you complete stories in just minutes. Today, we're exploring ANORA, the Palme d'Or winner that's captivated audiences worldwide. Have you ever wondered what happens when a whirlwind romance crashes into cold reality? Join us as we reveal ANORA's journey from exotic dancer to billionaire's bride and back again. At the Pantheon, a Brooklyn strip club, 24-year-old Ukrainian immigrant ANORA Morozova works the Tuesday night shift. The evening takes an unexpected turn when Ivan Vanya Zakharov, the 22-year-old son of a Russian oligarch, arrives with friends already intoxicated and flashing cash. During a private dance, Vanya discovers ANORA speaks Ukrainian. This connection sparks a conversation that transcends their transactional relationship. As the club closes, Vanya offers ANORA $3,000 to continue the party at his hotel. After texting his details to her roommate as a safety precaution, she agrees. At Vanya's luxury hotel suite, the party continues with champagne, cocaine, and eventually MDMA. As his friends gradually depart, Vanya and ANORA find themselves sharing surprisingly intimate conversations about their lives. Despite their vastly different backgrounds, her childhood in Odessa, his between Moscow and London, they discover a mutual sense of isolation. By morning, their chemical-induced connection feels profound. Vanya suggests they go shopping, leading to an extravagant spree through Manhattan's luxury boutiques. At Gucci, Prada, Tiffany's, and Louis Vuitton, he buys her thousands of dollars worth of clothes and jewelry without hesitation. Returning to the hotel, still high from drugs and shopping, Vanya makes an impulsive proposal. "Let's get married tonight." ANORA, caught between opportunism and genuine attraction, agrees to this reckless adventure. They drive Vanya's rented Lamborghini to Atlantic City, finding a 24-hour wedding chapel near midnight. The ceremony is brief and surreal. Vanya in rumpled designer clothes, ANORA in a hastily purchased white dress, exchanging vows and cheap rings bought from a casino gift shop. Afterward, they check into the presidential suite at a casino hotel. In a scene of exuberant celebration, they throw $100 bills from their balcony, watching the money flutter down to astonished pedestrians below. "I'm Mrs. Zakharov now," ANORA marvels. The reality of her sudden status change still sinking in. That night, their intimacy transcends the physical. There's a genuine, if chemically enhanced, connection between two people used to being valued for superficial reasons. The next morning brings partial sobriety and dozens of missed calls on Vanya's phone from his father and security team. Instead of concern, Vanya displays defiance, suggesting they visit his family's Hamptons estate. The Zakharov mansion stuns ANORA, a 20,000 square foot modernist structure with museum-quality art and every luxury imaginable. As Vanya shows her around, cultural and class differences begin to emerge in their sober interactions. That evening, as they relax by the infinity pool, Vanya receives a call that visibly disturbs him. His father, Dmitry Zakharov, is flying in from Moscow immediately. ANORA wakes alone the next morning. Searching for Vanya, she instead encounters his parents, Dmitry, a stern man in his 60s, and Elena, his elegant wife, along with Boris, their head of security. "The stripper who married my son," Dmitri remarks coldly upon seeing her. ANORA learns that Vanya has been sedated following his father's arrival. Dmitri offers her $100,000 to sign annulment papers immediately. When she demands to speak with Vanya first, Elena suggests she consider their offer before any such meeting. Over the next 24 hours, ANORA becomes a prisoner in luxury. Her phone mysteriously malfunctions, the estate's gates remain closed, and staff watch her constantly. Elena attempts persuasion over lunch, explaining that Vanya's marriage affects business alliances and political connections. Meanwhile, Dmitri employs intimidation, revealing disturbing knowledge of ANORA's background, family, and financial situation. After 2 days, ANORA finally sees Vanya, finding him glassy-eyed and subdued in his bedroom. "I'm sorry," he mumbles. "This was a mistake." "Is that you talking or your father?" ANORA challenges. "Both," Vanya admits. "I can't fight him, ANORA. No one can." The scene reveals Vanya's fundamental weakness. Despite his wealth and privilege, he lacks the courage to defy his family. Recognizing the inevitable, ANORA begins negotiating. She counters Dmitri's $100,000 offer with a demand for $300,000 in cash. When he dismisses her, she bluffs about contacting the press with the story of how Russia's fifth richest man drugged his son and held his daughter-in-law captive. The mention of publicity concerns Dmitri. They eventually settle on $250,000 and a guarantee he'll leave her alone afterward. A judge arrives at the estate the following morning, evidence of the Zakharov family's influence. The annulment takes place in the mansion's library, a sterile formality contrasting with the chaotic joy of the wedding. Vanya, now fully sober and clearly embarrassed, signs without meeting ANORA's eyes. Before signing herself, ANORA pauses briefly, absorbing the surreal nature of her 76-hour marriage. Boris presents her with a briefcase of cash and a non-disclosure agreement, which she signs after verification. As she prepares to leave, Vanya approaches for a final private moment. "I meant it when I said I'd never met anyone like you," he says quietly. "I know," ANORA replies. "Maybe in another life." A luxury SUV returns ANORA to her Brooklyn apartment, where her roommate Tasha embraces her with concern. ANORA explains her abbreviated marriage and settlement, prompting Tasha's amazement at the sum. That's more than $8,000 an hour. But ANORA's expression reveals it's not that simple. The experience has affected her in ways money can't measure. Not because she fell in love with Vanya, but because she glimpsed a different world and recognized both its allure and its emptiness. Rather than squandering her settlement, ANORA approaches it pragmatically. She invests half, ensuring long-term security. With the remainder, she makes calculated decisions, moving to a better apartment, enrolling in business courses, and researching locations for the nail salon she's dreamed of opening. In a poignant scene, ANORA visits her former workplace to say goodbye to colleagues. The club manager tries to convince her to stay. Customers ask for you every night, but she's firm in her decision. 6 months later, ANORA stands proudly in her newly opened nail salon in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn's Russian-Ukrainian enclave. The small but tasteful shop represents the culmination of her immigrant dream. While working on a client, she receives a text from an international number. A photo of Vanya in Moscow with the message, "I hope you're well. I think of you sometimes." ANORA studies it briefly. her expression showing neither longing nor regret, but acknowledgement of a strange chapter that changed her life without defining it. She returns to her client without responding. In the final scene, ANORA walks along Brighton Beach after closing the salon. She gazes at the Atlantic Ocean, the same water visible from the Hamptons mansion, but from a different shore. The film ends with her silhouetted against the sunset, neither triumphant nor defeated, but resilient and authentically herself. ANORA reminds us that true fairy tales aren't about marrying princes or acquiring riches, but about finding the courage to write your own ending. Would you have taken the money and built something new, as ANORA did? Or would you have fought to stay in that world of extreme privilege? If you enjoyed the story of ANORA, please like this video and subscribe to Movie Tales for more concise movie narratives. Tell us in the comments what film you'd like us to cover next.